Okay, the video you're about to watch, I just made a few minutes ago. And as I was getting ready to post it in a private Facebook group, I realized it would be really useful to share it here as well. So if you are curious about the content inside this video and you would like to engage in that group as well, find the caption wherever you're watching this video, and it will direct you to that private Facebook group where you can ask to be accepted into the group. And I'll bring you in and you can find this video at the top of the page, probably depending on when you're watching this video, and participate in this challenge. Do not message me anywhere else because I have a barrage of messages and I will answer the messages below this video inside the Facebook group. You'll see what I'm talking about when you get through this video. For those of you who are watching this video and haven't read my Sunday cheat sheet first, I'm going to read you the Sunday cheat sheet that kicked off this video, the reason I am making this video. Last Sunday, I was going to actually write a cheat sheet about friends, about friendship. My friend Caroline had just been out visiting me for a couple weeks, and I was thinking how awesome it was that we got to connect in this amazing way, even though we had never met in person until she stepped off the plane from the UK. And as I was writing that email, I'm like, oh, this is like, I don't feel like I'm really conveying what I want. So at the last minute, I decided to write this email instead. And it has created this barrage of responses. And I got hundreds of people saying, I want to know the secret. So I'm going to talk to you about the secret, and then I'm going to tell you the secret. And I want you to pay close attention when I read the email right now about the part where it's going to really frustrate you when you find out what the secret is, because hopefully when you experience that frustration, it will equip you to dig deeper and to stick with this and to figure this out, because this truly is the secret to making an excellent living in your business. Okay, here's the email. It was the end of a long day when he mentioned the stage hypnotist who had told him, don't be a hypnotherapist, because 90% of hypnotherapists earn a poverty level wage. I was having a conversation with a friend at HypnoThoughts when he mentioned this nasty rumor. I was pissed. It bothered me because I knew it was true. I knew how long it had taken me to rise above poverty level income as a homeless hypnotist. And I decided in that moment that I was going to reveal the secrets of becoming a wealthy hypnotherapist to as many people as possible. Are you curious to know the biggest and most important secret to reaching more people and making an excellent living doing it? I have to warn you, it is not glamorous. It's really hard. It's hard to wrap your brain around, and then it's easy once you figure it out. You're going to want to argue with me about it, but once you get it, you will have unlocked your ability to reach lots of people and make gobs of money. And now I'm going to do something I've never done before, because that's a really good way to get a new result. I am going to wait to share the secret. And here's a side note. I was so tired at this point. I'm like, I don't have the bandwidth to tell this secret. So I'm just going to find out if they really want it first. Okay, back to the email. If you hit reply to this email and write, I want to know the secret, then I'll share the first and most important secret in next Sunday's cheat sheet. That's what this video is. I'm toying with the idea of teaching a new secret to success each week, but first I wanted to make sure you're interested. And if you happen to not be a hypnotist, that's okay. This secret applies to every profession. Okay. When I trained in Toronto with Mike Mandel, the very first exercise he had us do was called revivification. And we sat in groups of 3. One person was the observer, one person was the revivifier, and one person was the revivifyee, which means these 2 people were engaged in a dialogue, and the third one was just observing. The object of the game was to find out from this person an activity that they enjoyed. And then it was the revivify, let's say hypnotist and the subject. It was the hypnotist's job to make that experience come alive for the subject in such a way that it was almost like they were right there feeling it. So when it was my turn, the person who I was the hypnotist for, I don't even remember who it was, but I can remember to this day, and this has been 5 years ago, I can remember what his pleasant experience was, and it was swimming. And that was interesting for me because I actually don't enjoy swimming. I'm, between you and me, I'm a little bit afraid of water, and I hardly know how to swim. I learned how to swim for the first time in my 40s, and I suck at it. But he told me what was pleasant about it. And I said, okay, so what do you enjoy about it? And he told me it's like the way the water feels as it moves against his body, as he's like gliding through the water, the sounds, the movements, the way he feels his body move. And so then, following Mike Mandel's instructions, he doesn't say, imagine walking up to the pool, imagine jumping in, imagine beginning to swim. You sink them right into the middle, like you're right there right now. So I said, okay, I want you just to feel the buoyancy of your body in the water. Notice the way it feels as you are being held in the water. Notice the way your shoulder muscles move in rhythm as you stroke, as you do that stroke. See, I don't even know how to talk about it. Notice the aromas, the smell of the water, the sound of the water in your ears. Notice the sensation of being supported by the water. I feel like I did a better job of it at the time, although probably not, because it was one of my first times in that role. And then it was my turn. And he asked me about an experience that I enjoyed. And I told him one of my favorite things to do as a teen was to go roller skating. And I actually still love roller skating. And he asked what I liked about it. And it's like, if I put myself there, I can almost hear the sound of all the wheels hitting the floor, because I just skated in a rink. You can hear the sound of the music. You can see the disco ball, the way it casts light around the room. You can watch the balls of light moving underneath your feet as you spin. You can smell the smell of the floor, the smell of the carpet, the smell of the popcorn at the concession area. So he had me close my eyes and talked about all those things, the things you see, the things you hear, the things you feel when you're skating. And as he was speaking, it's like I could smell that aroma. Scent is one of the quickest, it's the quickest way to the memory center of the brain. And it was just this really cool experience where so to vivify means to bring to life, to animate, to endow with life or renewed life. This, my friends, this is the key to making 6 figures as a hypnotherapist. And I told you, let me scroll back to that part of my email. I told you it's not very glamorous. It can be really hard. And the hardest part is wrapping your head around it. And that's why I'm making this video, because I want to get better at helping you wrap your head around it more quickly. You're going to want to argue with me about it, but once you get it, you will have unlocked the door to your ability to reach lots of people and make gobs of money. So when you vivify the problem, when you get clear on how you want to help the people that you want to help, and you stop saying things like, I help people with anxiety, or I help people lose weight, or I help people with IBS, and you start to vivify micro moments. Another way to talk about vivifying something is to talk about associating someone in. And what that means in hypnotic terms, many of you who are hypnotists and are watching this video know that when you associate someone in, you make that problem come alive. You make them physically feel as though they are right there in the midst of the problem, seeing what they see, hearing what they hear, feeling what they hear, perhaps smelling what they smell, and tasting what they taste. And when you associate a person into the problem, sorry, I'm getting passionate about this now because I really want you to get this. When you stop talking about anxiety and start saying things like, let's see, let me come to my example down here. Does your voice shake when it's your turn to talk during a Zoom meeting? Do you just want to turn off the camera and become invisible? All of a sudden, people start to understand how you can help them. So let me give you some examples. And before I go into this, I want to let you know, and if you have stalked me on Facebook at all, if you have watched the kind of posts that I make on Facebook, they are hyper strategic. You guys, I have spent the last 5 years of my life not just studying hypnosis, but about 4 years ago, I realized, okay, I'm either going to have to go back to being a hairstylist because I'm not making any money doing this, or I'm going to have to very grudgingly spend every bit as much of my time understanding marketing as understanding hypnosis. Thank goodness I realized really quickly they are the exact same freaking thing. So if you are a good hypnotist, even if you don't know you're a good hypnotist, you are a good hypnotist, and this is going to make you a better hypnotist. But if you're a good hypnotist, you're going to be a good marketer. And if you're a good marketer, you're going to be a good hypnotist. And I try not to use that M word very often because it like sticks in my throat to say it. I don't like that word marketing, but that's what we're doing. And if you're not willing to learn how to market to people in 2022, you are going to have a poverty level income unless something really spectacular happens for you. So if you've read my Facebook page, you've seen that most of my posts start with one of two things. They either start with a story, and it's usually a story about me. Like the other day if you pay attention to this cheat sheet, the first thing I said in the email that I read a moment ago is, it was the end of a long day when he mentioned the stage hypnotist who had told him, stories are so hypnotic. And when you start to tell a story, people lean in. Questions are so hypnotic. And when you ask people a question, you are talking about their most favorite subject in the entire world, themselves. And that is not, that's just human nature. We love to talk about ourselves. We love for people to be interested in us. So don't say, I want to ask you a question. Don't say, I want to tell you a story. Just start in with your question or story. And you're going to be amazed at how people start to pay attention as you speak. So I'm going to read you some examples, and I want you to notice the way that I vivify the scenario in a way that makes people actually pay attention. So let's say in the context of weight loss. So if someone says, what do? You say, I help people with weight loss. Or if you were trying to get people interested in having a one-on-one session with you, the sun is like shining in my window right now as I'm speaking, and I can just see my forehead starting to glow. You're wanting people perhaps to sign up for a group hypnosis session that you're doing about weight loss, or some kind of a workshop to give them a weight loss tip. I make my living doing group hypnosis sessions or workshops, and so I'll talk about it in that context, but this helps with one-on-one work as well. So if you were to say something like, do you have a pair of skinny jeans tucked away because you're hoping you'll fit in them again someday? Or do you flinch when your partner touches you because you don't want them to notice your muffin top? Or I used to throw cookies in the trash can and then squirt dish soap on top of them to make sure I didn't go dig them out of the trash later. So all three of those examples vivify or associate a person into a scenario of a micro moment when a person struggles with their weight. So if you say, are you frustrated that you can't lose weight? Have you tried to lose weight over and over and you just feel stuck? Those don't cut it, you guys. You got to associate them into a micro moment when the problem is a problem. Let me give you some more examples. Anxiety. So if you were to say, oh, I help people with anxiety, or if you were to say, and I read this one a moment ago, does your voice shake when it's your turn to talk during a Zoom meeting and you just want to turn off the camera and be invisible? Or if I were to tell a story and say, the instant I walked in the door, my heart started pounding. I wanted to attend this event so bad. And now that I'm here, I just want to turn and run. Why did I think this was a good idea? And so now people who are listening to that story can relate. And even if they haven't had a specific moment, the anxiety that I am vivifying as I tell that story is vivifying anxiety in them. It's associating them into the problem so that they understand how I can help them. Here's one for depression. And I know this is a controversial thing for many therapists to talk about. I boldly speak about it because it is the reason I became a hypnotherapist. I learned hypnosis to help with my weight, and the unexpected side effect is that it eradicated a lifelong depression problem for me. So I'm willing to talk about depression, even if it pisses some people off. So I can say I help people with depression, or I could say, when I was a hairstylist, I used to just fantasize about curling up in bed and shutting out the world as I was shampooing my client's hair. I wanted to escape my life. So when I start to tell a story like that, people who fantasize about escaping their life understand that I understand them. And that's what people need in order to become willing to sign up with you. They need to understand that you get them. Here's an example for someone who might help people with IBS. So instead of saying, oh, I help people with IBS symptoms, you can say, do you scope the scene for bathrooms the instant you walk into a new place? IBS can be a real pain in the butt, right? That was the next line when I was giving an example of a Facebook post, and I just couldn't resist that one. When you talk to people in an authentic, relatable way, and you help them understand that you understand what it's like to struggle with what the thing that they struggle with, everything shifts. So often we want to establish ourselves as the premier expert. We want to talk about our certifications and our qualifications. And I don't know if you're like this, but when I hear people droning on and on about their certifications and their qualifications, I tune out really quickly, because I know that they are trying to sell me something, and my I don't want to be sold to switch flips on really quickly. And when you show up and you just present yourself as an authentic person who is not perfect, who maybe hasn't arrived, because none of us have, it actually makes people trust you more. It makes them subconsciously see you as the expert and know that you can relate to them and have a key to help them. I was listening to a presentation earlier today where a woman was presenting on this same topic, and she was saying so often we wait to put ourselves out there because we're afraid to position ourselves as the expert. But the expert is someone who knows more about their subject matter than the average room of people. So if you were, let's say, the only example that's coming to mind is on a bus with 50 people, just 50 random people. If you happen to know more about that subject matter than the 50 other people on that bus, then you can position yourself as an expert, and you don't need to say, I'm an expert. And another thing that I like to teach people is that when you are helping someone with something, it's actually really advantageous if you are just one step ahead of them. Because if you're way out here and you have arrived, or you've gotten much closer to arriving, you've lost touch with what it's like to be back here. You've lost touch with the frustration, and you can't remember what it was like to have that struggle, and you don't relate to them in a way that equips you to pull them up higher. So you're actually at a real advantage by just having a little bit more subject knowledge than this person, and you can guide them up to this next level. And the beautiful part is, you guys, when I first started doing this, I felt so inadequate, so inferior. And a lot of the people who were leaning in and paying attention to me were other hypnotherapists who had been doing this for many more years than I had been. So the beautiful thing is that as you start to help people, even when you are perfectly imperfect, and you help from a place of authenticity and openness, and you just open your heart and share with them, it actually heals you in the process. So as you heal others, you equip yourself, you strengthen your healing journey, and you illuminate your path. And as you heal a little more, you can guide them through the next step. Then you heal a little more, guide them through the next step. And one of the things you'll love the most is how some of the questions that they ask and some of the stories that they share give you aha moments that you never would have had if you didn't start sharing this journey to start with. Okay, so your mission, should you choose to accept it, and I'm going to decide if I continue this series of giving you ideas for how to build a six-figure business. I'm going to gauge my engagement in teaching you based on the comments that I see underneath this video. What I want to see is you starting to experiment with this. You're not going to be good at it right away. You're going to suck at it. I want you to suck at it. I'm telling you this because people wait. We so often wait to start trying this out until we're good at it. And the only way to get good at it is to suck at it first. I sucked at it when I started, and now I want to see you put your ideas below. And this is what I want you to do. I want you to start vivifying micro moments of a person's life who struggles with the problem that you help. So this is what I'd like you to do. I would like you to put the topic that you help someone with. And if you help people with a bunch of different topics, just choose one for this activity. So you might just write anxiety, and then just write a question like, you know that feeling when you're merging onto the highway and traffic is rushing past you, and you know that you have to time your merging just right in order to get on the highway safely, and your heart is pounding and your face is flushing and you are freaking out. That's a lot of words. You don't need to put that many words, but I want you to start experimenting with writing a question or telling a story that vivifies a micro moment of someone's life where they struggle with this problem. That's going to be step one. If y'all play along with me and start practicing, I'll decide if I'm going to do another one of these next week, because there are more ways to vivify that problem. This is so effective. This really is the key to helping people actually give a darn about what you do. It's not talking about some fancy protocol. It's not talking about some certification you have. It's not even telling them that you're a hypnotist. It's just helping them understand, I understand your problem and I can help you get better. And we can talk more about what comes after that later. There's also another big piece of the puzzle, which is actually helping people, like finding the people that you can help in the first place. Because it's one thing to actually get in front of them, and then once you're in front of them, knowing how to talk to them. So this is kind of cutting to the how to talk to them part. But I want to build this in first, and then we can talk more about how to get in front of them depending on engagement. So let me know what you think of this video. Since I'm putting this up in a group that has not been active for almost a year. I started this group, I believe last January 2021. And it was really awesome for several weeks. And then I kind of let it fizzle. But this seemed like the most useful place for me to post this video, because it's a private group. Nobody can see your comments except the people who are here in this group. And most of the people in this group are also hypnotherapists. So it's a really useful place for you to have conversations. I'm not sure, I'm not going to promise you that I'm going to be super active in this group, because I am super active in several paid groups that I host, but I want to do this for you. And so I will come and check the comments below this video. I hope you all have enjoyed this. I hope I wasn't too hard on you or too passionate as I'm sharing these ideas, but this really is the key. It's that you stop talking about the how, you stop talking about hypnosis, you stop talking about the protocols, you stop talking about the neuroscience behind how this is going to help people. And that was a tricky one for me, because I am a neuroscience geek and I love explaining the neuroscience behind the problem and the solution. Nobody cares. Some people care, but what they really care about is like that moment when they open their closet and they see that pair of jeans up there and they're like, gosh dang it, when am I ever going to fit? I'm never going to fit in those jeans again. I can't do this. When you can talk about those micro moments, everything shifts. I'm going to stop beating this dead horse and end this video. I hope you have enjoyed this. I can't wait to see your comments below. Have a beautiful day, my friends. All right, if you are watching this video somewhere other than the Facebook group I mentioned in the video, just look for the captions wherever you're watching this video to find your way to that Facebook group, and come and share your comments underneath this video inside that Facebook group. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this valuable. Have an amazing day, my friend.